This is The Weekly on ClickOrlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
Good morning, I'm Justin Warmoth. Last month, the FDA announced a major change that will pave the way for more gay and bisexual men to donate blood. The updated guidelines do away with a requirement that men who have sex with men abstain from sex for 3 months prior to donating. It was a rule that prevented many in the LGBTQ community from giving blood nearly 7 years ago following the tragedy at Pulse nightclub. This morning, Susan Forbes, the Senior Vice President of Corporate Communications and Public Relations at OneBlood, is here to break down the new guidance that will usher in a new era of donor eligibility. Let's talk about the significance of the FDA ending this ban on blood donations from gay and bisexual men.
Well, it really is the start of a new era of blood donor eligibility. And it's an era where a person's sexual orientation will not determine if they can or cannot donate blood. So it really is a change that has been decades in the making. And we welcome this change and we look forward to moving to the new policy very soon.
And this will, among other things, really expand the blood supply, right?
Right. What it does, it further ensures safety of the blood supply. And it enables more people the opportunity to donate blood. And these are two great things. And those are the main points that we want. We want as many people to donate as they can and do it safely and to ensure a safe blood supply.
If someone's unaware of this new change, what has changed? Previous to this, there's a long history of this from the 80s. Take us through the timeline from when this was first put into place till today. And as blood banks start to phase this in?
Well, there was a policy, and the policy is known as Men Who Have Sex with Men policy, or MSM for short. And it's a policy that the FDA put in place in the 80s during the height of the AIDS epidemic. And at that time, any gay or bisexual man was not able to donate blood at that time. And that policy stayed in effect for decades. And in 2015, the FDA revised that policy and lifted the lifetime ban and moved to a 1-year restriction for gay and bisexual men, which meant any man who had sex with another man would be deferred for 1 year from donating blood from their last sexual contact with another man. That policy stayed in place until 2020 when the FDA revised it again and they moved to 3 months. And so any man who had sex with another man would be prohibited from donating blood for 3 months from their last sexual contact. And that's where that policy stands today, right? But then in May of 2023, this year, the FDA revised that policy again and said, no more time restriction. We're going to lift the time restriction and move to an individual assessment of all donors. And that's where we sit now.
So let's talk about what OneBlood is doing now to prepare for this, because as it stands today, this is airing on a Sunday, that this is not necessarily in place yet. There's a lot that needs to go into it. We'll talk about the work that's going into this.
So it's not a flip of the switch to be able to implement a major guidance like this. It is probably the biggest change that we've seen in the blood industry in decades. And so behind the scenes, we knew this was coming. We knew that the FDA was looking at revising this policy. And so we had already started to put the wheels in motion behind the scenes. And so there's still work to be done. We are moving as quickly as possible because we want to move to the new guidance. And we do anticipate being able to move to the new guidance probably within the next couple of months. And we'll put that out on our website and to the donors when that changes. So
are there still people prohibited, though, under this new guidance from donating?
Well, if a person is on certain medications that can help prevent HIV, such as PrEP or PEP, then they are still going to be deferred from donating blood. But that's, I want to preface with the fact that those are two medications that can defer people. But there's a lot of different things out there that the FDA has in place for all donors who are taking any, a variety of different types of medications that can prevent you from being able to donate blood, either temporarily or permanently, depending on your health conditions. So there needs to be more research done regarding those antiretroviral drugs that help prevent HIV. Under no circumstances do we want people who are taking those medications to stop taking them to donate blood. They should continue to take those medications. And the FDA is going to continue to look at if additional changes can be made down the line. But right now, that's where that stands.
OneBlood played a role in this, too. and the research that went into easing this policy.
Yes, and we're very proud of that. We were part of the advanced study, and the advanced study was a groundbreaking research study that was done that was funded by the FDA and OneBlood, along with the American Red Cross and Vitalant. The three of us are the nation's largest blood centers, accounting for about 60% of the nation's blood supply. And we enrolled about 1,600 gay and bisexual men into the advanced study. And here in Central Florida, there were many people who enrolled as well in South Florida. And they really helped contribute to this monumental change because the data collected from the advanced study was provided back to the FDA, and they used that as one of their data points to see if additional changes could be made to the policy.
Wow, well that's great to hear. This certainly was evident 7 years ago after the Pulse shooting, where you had scores of people lining up in the community wanting to donate blood. And unfortunately, people were turned away in the LGBTQ community from giving blood. What do you remember about that?
Well, I remember a lot about that day, and as many of us do. But my role that day was at OneBlood, and seeing these long lines of people lining up to want to help and donate blood was heartwarming. It was overwhelming, and it really became an avenue for people to help. And there were people, like you said, who were not able to donate because of the MSM policy. And it was hard to watch them, have to be told that they couldn't donate. But we do not make the rules at the blood center, but we most certainly have to follow them. But at the same time, you have empathy for people who want to come out and be able to help. And I do remember, this just shows you the strength of the community here and the LGBT community as well, where people who were not able to donate ended up staying to help in other ways that they could. They were handing out water at the blood center. They were talking with donors. They were asking, how can I help? And so here we are 7 years later, and we fast forward to a policy that then was challenging, making it challenging for gay and bisexual men to donate blood. And 7 years later, we're on the cusp of something very different now. So we have come a very long way.
Coming up, Forbes will tell us more about the response following Pulse and why they're encouraging those who are eligible to donate blood this summer. Stay with us.
This is The Weekly on ClickOrlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
Welcome back. It was 7 years ago tomorrow when 49 people were tragically killed at Pulse nightclub. The hours that followed, no doubt, revealed the terrifying details about the attack. But it also showed Orlando united, including so many looking to donate blood. Susan Forbes with OneBlood is back with us now to reflect on the overwhelming number of people looking to help and how the blood bank was able to accommodate that many donations.
Well, we do have we practice scenarios at OneBlood in the event of a mass tragedy or in other scenarios as well. To how do we, if we need an extraordinary amount of blood for something, right? And this was extraordinary, and the amount of blood that was used in 24 hours at Orlando Health was, unheard of. Over 440 units of blood used in 24 hours. They were going through at a rapid pace, and behind the scenes at OneBlood, there was a coordinated effort to get them as much blood as they needed, because while they have blood on hand, they needed more. They were going through it so fast. And it really, teaches you the lesson here that you don't want to wait for the tragedy to become the blood donor, because it's the donor that it's coming in today that's going to save the lives 2 days from now. So today's donor is tomorrow's hero, and it's important that people realize the need to be proactive in donating blood.
So every 8 weeks, you can donate every 8 weeks, right? Becoming a regular donor. That's the requirement.
That's the key.
That's the key. Yeah.
It's the key to everything.
Yeah.
Make blood donation a habit. Donate every single time you're eligible to do so, and you are going to be helping ensure a ready blood supply. And you don't, too many times we see these tragedies happening. We saw it here, we see it across the country. I assure you, every time the blood supply is playing a role in helping save these patients' lives.
The immediate blood supply.
Immediate blood supply.
The one that's ready to go.
Yes.
Because it takes time, as you just pointed out.
2 to 3 days for your donation to be on the way to help a patient. So when you see long lines of people lining up after the fact, they are still playing an important role. They're helping replenish the blood supply, but it's the donors that came in prior to the tragedy that are helping save those victims' lives. But we always, focus often on these mass tragedies. But right now, there's people at Advent Health and Orlando Health and every other hospital here in Central Florida. They're receiving blood transfusions right now. It happens every day in every hospital, and the need is extraordinary for people to step forward and donate blood. And unfortunately, less than 5% of the population donates blood when so many more people could, but don't.
1 pint equals what?
3 lives saved. So, it only takes a little bit of your time to donate blood. And, people may have a number of reasons why they don't donate blood. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they don't have time. You can think of a lot of different reasons why they don't want to do it. Or they just maybe never think about it, right? But we need you to think about it because the blood supply is playing a crucial role in our community every day, around the clock. And you just can't take it for granted. But all too often it is. And then it's put in the limelight when something horrible happens.
Right. Or when there's a critical shortage. And I'm curious how OneBlood's supply is as we talk right now.
Look, we're in the summer. The summer is here. It is one of the most challenging times for blood centers across the country.
Why is that?
Because school is out and people are on vacation. And schools account for about 20% of the blood supply. So when school isn't in, we know it. And we need people to continue to donate. And, before you go on vacation, donate blood. It doesn't take a vacation, the blood supply. And so the need is just as great today as it is any other day of the year. So we are encouraging people to continue to make blood donation a habit every time you're eligible to donate.
Are there health benefits to the person who is donating as well?
Yes, there's great health benefits. Some studies have even shown for men who donate at least 3 times a year, it can reduce their chances of heart attack by up to 50%.
Okay.
So, it's good to replenish your red blood cells, and it's a healthy thing to do. We also give each donor gets a little mini physical. You get your blood pressure, your pulse, your temperature. You find out your iron count, your hemoglobin. You also get your cholesterol results after the fact in your donor portal, and you find out your blood type.
That was exactly my point. I think if you were to poll the entire newsroom, I'd probably say 10%, and I think that's a very generous. That's very generous. Know their blood type, and just to remind folks, what is the ideal blood type for a donor?
Well, all blood types are important. Let's be clear.
No, I agree.
Because all of them are, because everybody doesn't have the same blood type. But when it comes to type O blood, this is the blood in the highest demand. O negative is the universal red blood cell donor, meaning it can go to any recipient regardless of their blood type. And it's used in trauma situations. So many of the Pulse survivors did receive O negative. And O positive is also used in trauma situations too. So O positive, more people have O positive than any other blood type, 38% of the population, and 7% of the population has O negative. So you put those together, you can see you're looking at almost half the population there having those 2 blood types. So the more people who have those blood types, the higher in demand. But that O negative, even though 7% have it, it is the highest demand blood product because it is helping trauma patients, premature babies, transplant patients, and cancer patients. It's the preferred blood type.
Throughout the pandemic, countless industries were impacted, obviously, by that. Blood banks as well. The supply diminished, and trying to recover from that because we saw plasma being used to help patients who are critical recover. It had key antibodies in there if someone had the antibodies. How was that process? Take me through how you guys sort of switched and made that happen and worked to ease this pandemic and save folks' lives.
Well, the pandemic really, this was something that was extraordinary on many levels, but at the blood supply level, we saw something that we've never seen before, which was thousands of blood drives canceled before our eyes because everything was closing down. And when 80% of the blood supply is collected on the Big Red Bus, and you can't take it anywhere now. This is, horrific scenario playing out. But we put the all call out, and people did respond, and they continued to respond from there. And then the convalescent plasma came along, and OneBlood was one of the first to lead the way on that as well. And we were doing the antibody testing and letting donors know who were asymptomatic, didn't know they had COVID, but they had those antibodies. And it was playing such a crucial role in helping, these COVID patients recover in many situations. So, there's so many things that OneBlood is able to do behind the scenes in these types of situations, and the antibody testing and providing the convalescent plasma was a crucial role during that time.
If someone's watching this and maybe they want to have a blood drive at their office, or they just want to donate, and I know those are two different things, what's the best way to do so?
Well, everything you need is always going to be found at oneblood.org. And you can book the Big Red Bus and host a blood drive from there and put in the request, and we'll see that. You can make an appointment right there online. And it takes about 30 seconds to make an appointment. And once you do show up for your appointment, the process is very simple. We have a tremendous frontline team. It's a lot of fun when you come in, and you're in and out of there very quickly, and you leave knowing that you are literally helping save somebody's life. You have that power running through your veins, and we encourage you to share it. That's why we have Share Your Power as our tagline, because you are sharing your power to help save people's lives. So we encourage you to do it. Just go to oneblood.org, and everything you need is right there.
And you could read more about the FDA's policy change and the timing of this new guidance right now on clickorlando.com/weekly. I'm Justin Warmoth. Hope you have a great Sunday.